guys, we just wanted to jump on here real quick and just remind you of the purpose that we were all meant to fulfill, which it says in Mark 16:15, and he said to them, "Go into the world and proclaim the gospel to the whole creation." So that doesn't just mean the pastors of the churches.
Right.
That means all of us. We are to spread the word, to get out there and proclaim the good news for people that don't know it or have never had the opportunity to hear it.
Yeah.
And so, that's what we're trying to do with the videos. We don't proclaim to know everything or even, we don't even feel like, we are good enough to do this, but God has laid it on our hearts and we're just following what he's asked us to do.
Right, and especially right now, since we are in God's grace period, and the time is very short that we have until, he comes, we all especially need to be preaching the gospel, to save people from what is to come upon this earth during the tribulation period. So definitely need to make sure we're getting the gospel out there, because you have to remember, it is just our jobs just, to plant the seed in people, and then it's, God's job to take that seed and really work with it. And, because man, they can change a person's heart, but you have to remember, if a man changes a person's heart, then another man can change their heart. But if God changes someone's heart, then no one else can change what God has done.
Yeah. So, we just, ask that, you just kind of meditate on that verse and think about, a lot of people I know are searching for their purpose in life. We all do that. We think that there's supposed to be this big thing that we're supposed to accomplish. And I'm not saying that that's not true, but our number one purpose is to spread his word so that all may be saved. And if you're afraid of doing that, I understand. I've dealt with that many times. I still fear, of rejection, or people are going to think, I'm this Jesus freak. And so I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. But if God opens those doors, there's a reason. And as scary as it might be, you just have to jump in and just take that leap and do it anyway. Because if God is behind it, he'll work through you.
Right. And if God's behind something, then no one can stop it.
That's right.
Because God's unstoppable. So whatever, he lays on your heart and you just start doing, you're going to have opposition, but nothing can ultimately overpower you, because you have God behind your back.
Right. I think sometimes we feel like every person we come in contact with, we should be throwing out the gospel. And that's not always the case. Sometimes it might be. But sometimes you have to befriend somebody first before they're going to trust what you have to say. But, the best way, I feel like, especially people that are in your circle, is just by the life that you live. And they'll see that and they'll want that. And sometimes they come to you and they're like, man, you have got something that I want, and I just don't know what it is. I've been trying to figure it out. Can you help me with it? And wow, and then God just opens those doors. So it's not always that you have to make the first move. A lot of people will just see what you have and want that.
Right.
So.
And to go along with that, it's not about, the way, of course you need to talk in the right way and stuff, but your actions need to lead people to Jesus. By the way they see you act, that will bring people near you than just what you say to them.
Right, because a lot of people, they look at some Christians and they think, I don't want any part of that. If that's what being a Christian is, you can have it. And that's sad, because people claim to be Christians but live this very wicked life. And so people see them proclaiming with their mouth to be a Christian, but their actions speak a lot louder than what their words are saying. And so people are like, that's why you hear, people calling Christians, they're just a bunch of hypocrites and all they want is your money. But that's just so untrue.
You have to remember that, they're just people, and that's not what the gospel is about. It's about Jesus, and, he's perfect, and what you see in people, that's not how Jesus is.
No, that's not what Jesus is. And if we put all our trust and hope in a specific person, you're always going to be disappointed. So even if you look up to somebody, which, a mentor or something, and they fail, and then you think, well, then I guess that's that, and I'm just going to go on and live my life because they lived a lie. You know what? It's not about the person. And people get so caught up, like even in pastors of churches, and then you see the church fall, and what happens? A lot of the people fall with him.
Yep.
But it's not about the pastor. It's not about the church. It's about God and the Bible. And if you have your faith, just plant it in his word first. If somebody else that you look up to fails, you're still going to be planted in his word, and you're going to know, men are sinful and it happens, but God's truth I can stand on, and he never, ever, ever changes.
Yep. So just the last thing, just remember, it's an important time right now because God placed you in this time of
That's
history.
right.
He could have put you any other time, but he chose right now, and there's a reason for that. And especially since time is short, you need to make sure, you really spread the gospel right now, because you don't want people to have to deal with the tribulation, and, you don't want to have to deal with going in front of, God's throne. And he's saying, I laid it upon your heart to go and tell these people, and you chose not to. And since you didn't, they had to go through these things.
That's right.
So,
and everybody has a certain, gift or opportunity. Yeah. Everybody's not the same. So, don't just be looking at what they are doing. Oh, well, then maybe that's what I should do. Maybe it is, but maybe it's not. Maybe God has a completely different plan for your life. So you really need to be in his word and searching and praying and asking God, what is it that you would have me to do? And if you're open to it and you believe him to do what he says he will do, he will open those doors for you. So just keep looking up, keep praying, just keep your faith strong, and God will help you through all this.
And just one more thing before we go. It's not about like how much you do. It just is, it truly just depends on like how obedient you are to God. Yep. That's what he looks for, just obedience.
Yep. So be obedient.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to leave this here. Thank you guys for joining us. And as always, like if you have any prayer requests, please leave them below in the comments, and we will be happy to, get back with you on that, and we will make sure we're praying for you.
That's right. Thanks, guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
See ya.